Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode number 3 of Fear vs. Ivy. As always, I'm your co-host, Sire Saul, resident Cardinals fan, brought to you with my resident Cubs fan, Jackson Gross. Jackson, it's Monday. How are we doing today?
I'm doing all right. I had a really good weekend. Outside of working at my job on Saturday, I had a really nice weekend. It was my mom and my stepdad's birthday over the weekend, so had some nice time just celebrating at home with them. Both of them some pretty nice stuff. Got my stepdad a nice looking Bears vest. Keep him warm. And then my favorite gift I got my mom was she's big into Harry Potter and Lego and puzzles and all that kind of stuff. So I got her a Lego version of Dobby the house elf, for those who know. And it comes with the diary and the sock to build. So yeah, it was really good. Got a ton of Madden in to get out some frustrations from yet another disappointing Bears Sunday. But overall, I'm doing good. Playoff baseball has been awesome to watch, so I can't wait to get talking about it.
Love that.
So, but how have you been, Sai? How are you doing?
It's been a week. There's been this I'm calling this a campus sickness that's been going around my campus, and I caught it. I caught it bad. So I've been sick all week, and I'm now getting over it. So. But outside of that, I was in Chicago for the weekend, saw one of my favorite artists live, which was super duper fun. But I'm here. It's Monday, ready to talk some baseball. No complaints.
Yeah, who's the artist you saw?
He is a rapper by the name of DC the Don.
Okay, I'll pretend like I know who that is.
Not many people. Some people know who he is, but it's not that big of a deal. It was a really good show. That's all that matters.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. So let's you ready to talk some baseball, Sai?
I'm so ready to talk some baseball.
All right. Well, before we talk about, because we're already at the league championship series here, let's get into the division series where some unexpected things happened.
A lot of unexpected things happened.
Where do you want to start? You want to start American League or National League?
Let's start American League. I think that's a great idea to start with.
All right, let's to the chagrin of our beat writer Johnny Black, let's get the most boring series out of the way, and that was the Astros. For the 7th year in a row, they made the ALCS, taking down the Minnesota Twins 3-1. Shout out to the Twins for winning a game in that series. Obviously winning their first playoff game and playoff series in 18 plus years. Just the Astros are a machine. I don't know where I said it. I don't know if I was talking to my brother about it or one of our shows, but the way the Astros have been able to resurrect Jose Abreu's horrible regular season to what he did in this division series is nuts, and it's not fair. The Astros should not be allowed to do this.
No, they should not. But no, kudos do go out to the Twins. I would have liked to see the Twins win because we don't want to see the Astros keep getting to ALCS year after year after year. But they did win a game. They took it to 4. It wasn't a sweep. So kudos got the Twins. The curse are the not winning a playoff game curse. It's over. It's done. We don't got to worry about that. But it would have been nice for the Twins to win and Pablo Lopez to continue to shove. But we don't get that.
Yeah, no, it was the one game that they did win was obviously the game that Pablo Lopez, pitched. 7 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts in Houston. So shout out to Pablo Lopez, shout out to the Twins. But just getting back to Jose Abreu's ALDS, let's see, just casually had 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and just like through the playoffs, he's hitting 300, 333 on base, 750 slugging, 1083 OPS for the former White Sox and AL MVP. Like his regular season was not that good, from what I can recall. He had 237, the lowest of his career. 296 on base. It was a career worst year for Jose Abreu, but I guess he wants that ring and saving his best for the playoffs.
That's one way to put it. I almost thought he was going to get benched throughout the regular season. I don't know who the Astros would have gone to, but no, there was no pop in that bat. And Abreu is known for getting on base, hitting 20 to 25 home runs. Yes, he's getting up there in age. I believe he's in his age 36 or 37-year-old season, but 237? The first year on a brand new contract? That didn't look like a good look for a while, but if he's going to perform in the playoffs when the Astros need him the most, I'll look past the regular season. It's a fluke year. We'll call it that.
He'll be 37 this January, which is weird to think about that he's been playing baseball since 2014, at least in the major leagues. So, but yeah, I think that before we move on, I think the difference in that series was Game 3, because we were talking about it with Johnny on our show last week. You had Sonny Gray on the mound, potential second place AL Cy Young, potentially getting a lot more money in free agency if he pitches well, probably the best chance the Twins had of winning that series. And he proceeds to give up 4 runs in the first inning in a 9-1 loss with Christian Javier on the mound for Houston. That's just not a good look, especially for your sake, hopefully a future St. Louis Cardinal.
Fingers crossed. I'll say it every episode until it happens. Fingers crossed. It will happen.
Who besides Jose Abreu, is there anywhere else that stood out to you from that series from either side?
Okay. I'm gonna diss on the Twins just slightly.
Okay.
Because what the Twins did Game 4 with their whole pitching bullpen game did not make too much sense to me. Joe Ryan. I understand Joe Ryan struggled this year, especially with the long ball. Astros have bats like a Yordan Alvarez, a Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, a Kyle Tucker. Like, the Astros can hit. But why are you going to start Joe Ryan in Game 4, only let him go one time through the batting order? So he went maybe 2 innings, only let up a run, and then go to the bullpen when they already had to do a bullpen game 1. Game 3, because Sonny Gray got shelled first inning, they had to pull Sonny Gray earlier than they wanted to. They should have let Joe Ryan go longer. If he started to get into trouble, you pull him. But as far as I remember, Joe Ryan did not have much trouble. He was a starter. He can go 6-7 innings if he was on his game. And do or die situation, they went to Joe Ryan. But they're just telling me they could only go one time through the batting order. Yes, long ball problem. But why? That bullpen was already taxed as is. Yordan Alvarez, does not matter who he was going up against in that pen, crushed him. Should have let Joe Ryan go one more time to the order. Save some of your arms until later on in the game. It could have been a different story. There could have been a Game 5. That's what I think. But I'm not Rocco Baldelli. I'm not anyone on that Twins coaching staff. I don't know the Twins like they know him. But still, let Joe Ryan go a little more. Could have been a different game. Or start something completely different. I think, unless they were planning on going Bailey Ober Game 5, I would have pitched Ober. If they knew that Joe Ryan was only going to go 2 innings, would have pitched Bailey Ober on short rest. Had Joe Ryan go Game 5, do or die, pitch his arm out.
Yeah,
Make it make sense.
Yeah, and Sam, I'm not going to completely disagree. I think that this ALCS is still very, very interesting. I think just from we don't want to see the Astros again perspective, I think it would have been a lot more fun that way. But I think the Rangers would have destroyed the Twins, even if somehow the Twins are able to get past the Astros. But it would have been interesting. Yeah, and I was just taking a look at the stats here. Yeah, Joe Ryan, 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, a home run to Michael Brantley that went 399. And yeah, so I think you could have gotten away with a third or fourth inning from Ryan and then head to the pen because what is this? Theobar? Caleb Theobar gives up a 2-run home run to Jose Abreu in the fourth inning, which ended up being the dagger because Julian hit a home run and then that was it. That was all the scoring. So I think you could have allowed Joe Ryan to go at least 3 or 4 innings, and then you put in Brock Stewart in that next inning.
Yep.
So yeah, it's unfortunate. Shout out to the Astros again. You, regardless if you're using trash cans or not, you're still a really great baseball team that has made 7 straight ALCSs. So we'll hope and see who will be able to take out the Astros next year if prevent them from making the ALCS. But before we look to the future, let's talk about the other division series that was, I think, a little bit of a shock considering the records of these two teams. The Texas Rangers go into Baltimore and sweep the 1-seeded Orioles. And if memory serves, games 2 and 3 were not particularly close between these two teams. Jordan Montgomery was awesome again for the Rangers. Corey Seager set an MLB playoff record with 5 walks in one game. Just an absolute stud at the plate. Cy, I know you were very disappointed. This was the other team that this was your World Series pick once the division series got rolling. How you feeling? Like, what do you think went wrong for the Orioles in this one? Just give me your thoughts.
I have to just laugh at the beginning of this because, okay, all right. So, coming into the playoffs, everybody was looking at Baltimore, and they said that pitching staff, it's looking a little sketchy. It's not great. But everybody's like, all right, we're going to look past it. It's Baltimore. They're going to work their young gun devil magic or whatever you want to call it. And, well, they didn't win a game. They were the 1 seed, and they got blown out, to say the least. But so I went on my Grayson Rodriguez rant last week. We're not going to go back to that. If you know, you know.
Yep.
But then we go down to Texas. We go to game 3. And all right. Questionable decision 1. Why was Kyle Gibson not starting? Instead, Dean Kramer started. But why wasn't Kyle Gibson, the vet, the Chad innings eater himself, who went like 10-10 with like a 4 or 5 ERA? Didn't put him in. Instead, went hometown kid Dean Kramer, who then proceeds to get absolutely lit up by this Texas Rangers offense. Could just like his old buddy, old pal Grayson Rodriguez, couldn't make it through 2 innings. He went 1.2 innings with 1 and 2 innings. My bad. Giving up 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 errors, 1 walk, no Ks, 2 home runs. What are we doing, Baltimore? What are we doing? Let the kids pitch. No. Back-to-back games. It's supposed to be your year. No one expected you to do what you did, and you pull the most AL East card and get blown out.
Tell them how you really feel, Cy. Tell them how you really feel.
Why? Okay, I understand. It's Dean Kramer. It's a hometown kid. But he really wasn't this good this year. I'm looking at his base running stats right now. Yes, he went 13-5. Cool. 4.12 ERA.
Bad.
And 172 innings pitched. 157 strikeouts. Like, not bad. But in a do-or-die game, someone who has never pitched in the playoffs before, go to the kid? You did it with Grayson Rodriguez. Look what happened there.
Yeah.
I'm done. I like Dean Kramer. I like the Orioles. Do not get me wrong. But back-to-back games, your young kids, the young guns, this happens. But to be fair, I will give the slightest grain of salt to the Orioles. John Means was not on the LDS roster. They were hoping they would make past the LDS without John Means. John Means would have been in the ALCS. This would have been John Means' game. but you still had Kyle Gibson, who frankly has pitched well against Texas in his career, who if I remember correctly, at least has some sort of playoff experience because he is like a 10-year vet. But no, go with Dean Kramer, who got shelled just like his buddy old pal, Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah,
And the offense did not help out at all as they lost 7-1. But Orioles went cold. They went cold like the other two bird teams.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not wearing the Orioles hat. That's why we're rocking the Detroit Tigers today.
Oh man, you know you're down bad when you have to resort to the Detroit Tigers hat.
It was this or the Yankees. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I can't. We can't go to the Yankees hat yet. When I need to go on a New York rant, we'll go there. But
Okay.
Detroit Tigers, baby. Yes, Miggy.
Yeah, it just to back up what you were saying about Kyle Gibson, he has pitched in the playoffs twice before this year with the Orioles. 2019 with Minnesota, he did not do well. Gave up 3 runs in an inning of work out of the bullpen. But last year he was with the Phillies, pitched 2 1/3 innings, 2 strikeouts, only gave up 2 hits and 1 walk, no runs allowed. So, yeah, I think that it would have been better as him as like an opener. I don't think he's at the stage of his career where he would have gone 4, 5, or 6 innings, but I think he's a 2 or 3 inning guy, and then maybe you bring in Dean Kramer in for the rest to get a couple of innings just to get some experience. And yeah, it was just not good.
Wait, hold on. Interrupting real quick. Jack Flaherty's there too. 2019 Jack Flaherty knows what the playoffs is. Has done that before. I get it. They relegated him to the bullpen. I think he pitched like 2 innings of work in game 2, but let up a run, let up 1 hit. You could have went to him to do 2, 3 innings, but no. Dean Kramer let up 6 runs.
Yeah, Flaherty pitched 2 innings and gave up 1 run, 3 walks, and a strikeout in 2 innings of work. So
better than Dean Kramer.
So yeah, and that's also part of the problem. I think the Orioles should have swung bigger at the trade deadline to get a frontline starting pitcher. I don't think they were going to get Justin Verlander. I think that was basically Houston or bust at that point. But you saw a lot of guys, like good pitchers, moved at the deadline. Yes, Cy was very heated about the Orioles. But you had Jordan Montgomery and Max Scherzer go to the Texas Rangers. They didn't see Max Scherzer, but they saw a lot of Jordan Montgomery, who the Orioles in game 2 actually got to him a little bit. They got 4 runs off of Montgomery. Mm-hmm. But
just 1 bad playoff start.
Yeah, and then obviously there's Verlander. I feel like I'm forgetting a few guys. Michael Lorenzen. I don't think he would have been as good as obviously those other 2 guys, but I think he would have been better than Jack Flaherty. And who knows?
They could have convinced Eduardo Rodriguez to get out of Detroit.
Yeah, that would have been, and it's a lefty.
They could have tried to swing Dylan Cease out of Chicago.
There were rumors.
There were pitchers.
Yeah, I was going to say there were rumors that the Orioles were checking in on Dylan Cease. And while he had had the greatest year this year, still better than Jack Flaherty and Shintarjo Fujinami. So I think again, we're seeing the fact of, and we'll get to in the other series, you have to spend money and swing big when your team's good. Again, we've seen it time and time again. You just saw a team, the Rangers have like 2 or 3 guys making a crap like over $200 million. I think, did Semien get a $300 million deal, or at least somewhere close to that? Yep. Corey Seager got somewhere close to that. Like Adolis Garcia is going to get somewhere in that area at some point soon. And obviously Nathan Eovaldi, Jacob deGrom.
There's people.
They got Max Scherzer, who they're not really paying this year or next year, really. Because thank you to the Mets for paying that salary.
LOL Mets.
But I just
wait till we get to Arizona. I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel.
But yeah, so I think again, amazing season for the Orioles. No one thought 2 years ago this team would be the number 1 seed in the AL, winning the AL East over the Rays, Yankees, and Red Sox or Blue Jays. Fantastic season from them. Just unfortunate because they could have done so much more if they had decided, and maybe they're a year early. I think this is a perfect equivalent to the 2015 Cubs. Lots of young talent. They did buy a little bit, but not enough they needed. So let's see if the Orioles can get their Jason Hayward and John Lackey, and then their Aroldis Chapman at the trade deadline. So we'll see what the Orioles do. They'll have Felix Bautista hopefully back next year. It's going to be a full Tommy John.
No, full Tommy John. If everything goes right, he will be back in September. But signs looking right now, all 2024, he's out, which means
they're going to have to sign or trade for a closer.
Unless they have Yennier Cano close out games, then, which I don't think they should. He's a fantastic setup man.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need to do something. Don't shoot the messenger, but I would not be surprised if in this offseason we see a trade go down between the Cleveland Guardians and the Baltimore Orioles, because the Cleveland Guardians have some names called Eli Morgan, Shane Bieber, Emmanuel Clase, that if I were Baltimore with that farm system that they have, I think I would make a call if I was the GM of the Baltimore Orioles and say, who do you want? We have a Kobe Mayo. We have a DL Hall. We have people. We have
Kierstead. Colton
Cowser. They have people that if I was Cleveland, I'd pick up the phone and say, let's do some talking, because they got arms.
Yeah. And I mean, Cleveland is a pitching factory. And even if they don't want to trade, there's at least some interesting options in free agency. Josh Hader will be a free agent. Will Smith from the Rangers. Craig Kimbrell. Trevor May. So Dylan Floro.
Ooh, I would love to see Trevor May in Baltimore.
If they want to go a little cheaper, I think it would probably make a big trade for a starter and then signs a closer in free agency. If they're somehow able to get Shane Bieber and Josh Hader, but honestly, knowing they have Felix Bautista, they would probably go for a guy closer Trevor May. So if they can get Shane Bieber and Trevor May, that's a nice little improvement to that pitching staff and gives them a frontline ace. Maybe they try Jack Flaherty again in the starting rotation.
I can see them signing Jack for another 1-year prove-it deal. Fujinami was finding success late in the year once he got comfortable in that bullpen, and the fan base has gotten behind Fuji. I can see him coming back for another year. Full year Grayson Rodriguez, full year John Means, still have a Dean Kramer, still have a Kyle Bradish. Could try out Flair as a 5. Could bring back Kyle Gibson as that veteran presence. That pitching staff needs a vet of some sort.
Yep.
On any sort of extent.
Yeah.
I do like them bringing in Trevor May for a year for that pen to kind of mentor those young guys. They'll still have Cino Perez. They'll still have Yennier Cano. They'll still have Brian Baker.
They'll have a lot of those same
Danny Columbine, DL Hall. They don't trade DL Hall because DL Hall, they could swing back to a starter, but sneaky. He's so sneaky out that bullpen. He can come in for. They learned that they can trust him in those clutch situations. He'll come in. He'll shut the door. So the Orioles will be back. Case in point.
Yeah, it should be interesting for them, but fortunately, they're done for 2023. And let's go ahead and quickly shift on over to the National League. Let's start with the Atlanta Braves. They once again get upset by their division rival, the Philadelphia Phillies, in 4 games after they won 103, set all kinds of offensive records in this postseason. Ronald Acuna, who hit over 300 during the regular season, hits 143 in the playoffs. They scored 5 or less runs in every game, scored 3 or less, or 2 or less in 3 of the 4, and it was amazing series by Bryce Harper, Nicholas Castellanos, Trey Turner, JT Realmuto, and Bryson Stott. Shout out to the Phillies. I never thought I would find myself liking a fan base less than the Philadelphia Phillies or Philadelphia fan bases, but the Atlanta Braves fan base has topped that list somehow. And I've talked about it before. Their unreasonable hatred for Dansby Swanson leaving, and every time the Cubs and Braves play, they trash talk him for no apparent reason. And I'm okay with swagger and confidence, just like the arrogance that like some Braves fans have and some of the Braves player has. Obviously, you saw Orlando Arcia with the Attaboy Harper comment, which led to 2 home runs in the next game, including an absolute pimp job on a lefty-lefty matchup. Like, I'm so done with the Braves and their shit. They're so annoying. I'm glad they're out of the playoffs. And the Phillies are just such a fun team to watch and to root for. So shout out to them. I love it. I love the stare down from Bryce Harper. I love the confidence. Nicholas Castellanos swearing on live television, saying like, yeah, I fuck with Philly. Fantastic. Round of applause for the Phillies.
Round of applause for Philadelphia. Round of applause for Philadelphia.
For preventing the Braves from reaching another NLCS.
And round of applause for Philadelphia fans for living rent-free in Orlando Arcia's head.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And a round of applause for Garrett Stubbs for his now iconic post-game interview in the overalls, where he went on Atlanta and ended it with my favorite words, fuck the Mets. So, yeah. I don't got anything else to say to that. You hit that right in the head. Let's go. No, not let's go Philly. Let's go Philly because he beat the Braves and made Blooper sad on Twitter. But that's okay.
Yeah, it was just awesome. It was an awesome series. Just to see them get humbled a little bit. Like again, I have no problem with a team that has confidence, swagger, carries themselves really well. They're just annoying. They're just like one of the most annoying teams I've ever seen. And I think that all culminated in Game 3 with Castellanos, Harper again, Trey Turner, Castellanos, Brandon Marsh in a 10-2 win in Game 3. And then obviously them getting the big dub 3-1. And shout out to Johan Rojas for basically saving that game with an unreal catch in center field with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs with the Phillies up 3-1. So awesome. I loved every part of the series. Yes. Honestly, if I had to give an MVP, it honestly wouldn't be Bryce Harper. I think it'd be Castellanos.
It has to be Castellanos.
I think
he made history. He made history.
I think he was like one of the first guys to have like multiple home run games in every game of a series.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
And
no one's ever done that before.
Yeah, it was just unreal silly series for the Phillies. Thank you to you guys for that. But we have one final series to get to. I'm not even going to say anything. I think people have been following Cy and following the show, they know. Cy, take your victory lap. Just go for it right now.
The motherfucking kids play. The Diamondbacks should not have been here. They should have not even made the playoffs. And what did they just do? Sweep their division rival, Los Angeles Dodgers. The team who always, whenever Arizona has to go to LA always owns them. Always manhandles them. Not this time. Clayton Kershaw who? Von Miller who? Lance Lynn who? That don't matter. 3-0, swept, get the brooms out, 4 home runs in 1 inning. Gabriel Moreno's my hero. Pimped a foul ball home run and said, hold on, hold my beer, boom, opposite field home run. Wow, they shouldn't even be here. No, NLCS. Let the kids play. Let the kids play.
Yeah, it's been awesome
Huh.
to
I
see.
take a drink now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just been incredible. I honestly, when the Cubs were going into Arizona in that big series in September, I was not expecting the Diamondbacks to make the playoffs, or if they did, it would be as that 6th seed, which they end up doing anyway. How the Marlins got the 5th seed is still beyond me. I mean, luckily for them, they probably would have lost to Philadelphia if they had gotten the 5 seed. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Brandon Pfaadt. We had a lot of questions about him going into that series with the Brewers and him starting game 1 against Corbin Burns. And he's done nothing but shove since he's gotten out here. I mean, take a look at his playoffs. 2 2/3 against the Brewers. Yes, he gave up 3 runs, but it was still enough for them to win. And then 4 1/3, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, 8 ground balls, 6 fly balls, and not a single walk allowed. Shout out for a guy who's 25 years old, pitching in his first postseason ever. Like we said, not a good regular season, over 5 ERA, 3-9 record. Like, he's coming up clutch for them. And if he can continue this against the Phillies, if he can still give them at least 3, 4, 5 innings, the Diamondbacks are going to have a real shot in this series against Philly.
Yeah. No words. Let the kids play. This is going to be the most Battle of Texas this, Battle of Texas that. This is going to be the most entertaining NLCS series.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And shout out, wow, I can't believe, like, what a horrible series for Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. I think they went a combined, like, 1 for 32, something like that.
With the only hit, I believe, being a Mookie Betts infield single that was technically an error. Like, it.
No, it's a Freddie Freeman hit in that series.
Wrong player.
It was in game 2. Yeah, it looks like it was probably just a single. Yeah, it's 1 hit, 1 run in 10 at-bats and 2 walks. For a guy who led the league in doubles, did not get a single double or home run all playoffs long. So it was rough. It was rough for them. Can't lie for them, but that's honestly, it's tough to come back in every single game when all your best pitchers are injured and you have to rely on a aging Clayton Kershaw and a couple of guys who are pretty young. Like, if I'm not saying Dodgers would have won, but it would have been a lot more competitive with Walker Buehler and Dustin May in the rotation for the Dodgers. And maybe you throw in Clayton Kershaw mixed with a Lance Lynn in a game 3 situation. So it's unfortunate for the Dodgers. They had a really good year, just decimated by injuries. This is one of the few times where I think, yes, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman underperformed, but it's so hard when you can't have any pitchers get more than 2 2/3 innings of work done.
I don't mind. Diamondbacks in the NLCS. It's not the Dodgers. I don't mind.
It's just dancing on the grave of Dodgers fans. Damn.
Yeah.
The
Cardinals fan in me loves this because we don't mess with the Dodgers. We don't like them. So now I get to root for now. I'm rooting for the Diamondbacks, and they do that, knowing how notoriously bad Arizona is in LA. It's a big deal.
Yep,
it's a very big deal.
So there was some history made with the current playoff bracket we have now. There are no teams left that won, what is it, like 92 or more games?
Yep.
First time in a while. It's, I believe, the second or third year, or this is the second year of the new playoff format with 6 teams making it. And I think it's the second year in a row with no 1 seed getting into the league championship series. Got the 5-seeded Rangers against the 2-seeded Astros, the 4-seeded Phillies versus the 6th-seeded Diamondbacks. This has generated a lot of conversation, mostly from the losing teams. Should the playoff format be changed again? Because both Orioles and Braves fans are saying they had too much time off. It's unfair for them because it messes with the timing of their hitters. Do you think the playoff format should be changed again in order to compensate for that?
No. 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 It's crazy. Your team went cold when other teams were hot. Guess whose fault it is? Yours. Nobody else's. Stop making excuses. Like Atlanta. Them same games you're doing. Them same games that you were hyping up, selling tickets for, to stay in shape, to make sure we still have that competitive edge. Oh my goodness, you had 5 days off. Oh my goodness, it was your own little All-Star break. It's your problem to stay in shape. You're supposed to be this hotshot team, and you're going to get cold. Break this, break that. You are a professional athlete who gets paid millions of dollars, and you're going to make these petty little excuses. Be better. Own up. You got cold. Your team got cold while other teams are hot and performing. Yes, it's baseball. Anything can happen. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, C's don't really matter in baseball because every single pitch matters. You got cold when other teams are hot. That is not the playoff bracket's fault. That is not the fault that you were a top 2 seed and got a bye. It is what you do during your 4 or 5 off days that matters. Are you going to actually be at the complex, be at the field every day, doing sim games, staying in your timing and whatever that mumbo jumbo you want to call it? You're a professional athlete. You have machines and you have everything in the world to be competitive, to have that competitive edge. And you're going to say because you had too much time off, because you weren't actually facing a team that you're cold. You have to be better. You have to be better than that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna call BS on that because I was looking at last year's playoffs. Both teams in the American League that had a bye made it out. The Yankees beat the Guardians, and the Astros beat the Mariners. It's funny enough, both NL bye teams, again, the Dodgers and the Braves, did make it out. The Dodgers lost to the Padres, Braves lose to the Phillies. So it's enough. And again, even this year, the Astros had a bye, took care of business.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe
just
yes,
fun.
Yeah, and maybe they had the easier opponent of the two, but they were still going to play the Twins anyway because the Twins were the higher seed. And so Baltimore was still going to get the Rangers. So I want to hear none of this, oh, we got to change the playoff format. Maybe there's an argument to reseeding where the Phillies would have played the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks would have played the Braves, like how they do it in the NFL or the NBA. But no, if you're a team that gets a bye, you have to perform against one of these wild card teams or the other division winner.
Who is tired? They are tired. They have to deplete this energy to even get there.
Yeah. And the teams with the bye get to set the rotation. They get to have their ace game 1 and fill out the rest of the rotation. I would love if the Cubs won the NL Central. They would have Justin Steele, Marcus Stroman, and Jameson Taillon or Javier Assad or Jordan Wicks for a game 3. I would love to have that opportunity to have against a team that just had to go through and probably has to use either their ace on short rest or one of their other starters in the rotation. So I think it's stupid. I think the teams are just using a mass amount of copium and salt and just disappointment. So no, playoff format should not be changed once again. But before, Cy, what would have helped some of these bye teams potentially make it out outside of the Astros?
I got no clue. What could it possibly be?
It would have been some good insurance.
Erie Insurance says here's to the grown-ups who move, mortgage, mow, and still bust a move. But does your home insurance still fit? Erie helps you protect the home you've grown into, all at fair prices that are often less than the other guys. So how do you find the right coverage? Magic. Nope. Local independent agents who get to know you like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.
Erie Insurance.
And when you call Jeff Wertepney at Erie Insurance, you can call him at 704-464-4544. Make sure you tell him that Third Down Thursday sent you and that I'm better at him than at Call of Duty. So, Cy, the League Championship Series are set. We've already had Game 1 of the ALCS, but we were just talking about them before we got out of here for that first ad break. We got the kids versus the dong hitters. We got the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NLCS. Just give me your initial thoughts, predictions of what is lining up to be a really good series. Game 1 is tonight at 7:07 Central Time, 8:07 Eastern. This is just going to be a fun series regardless of what happens.
Yes. All right. So there are a few notable things that I want to point out for this series. So first things first, Arizona in 6. I don't want to hear it. I understand that Arizona does not have home field advantage, but they're going to clinch it at home in Game 6. This is why. So we got Zach Gallen Game 1, Merrill Kelly Game 2, Pafat Game 3. Lining up with most likely against Wheeler. Wheeler's going Game 1 tonight.
Yep.
Likely it's going to be Nola Game 2,
Yep.
Suarez / bullpen Game 3. What is notable, which I'm a lot of respect on the Diamondbacks, and they switched up their roster sort of major with this go around. They're taking extra pitcher, one less position player. They're bringing in the rookie Slade Cecchini, who is a mix of a long reliever / spot starter for them. No Jace Peterson. Oh well. Jace Peterson wasn't that. Jace Peterson wasn't that good because he was in Oakland A. Sorry, MJ. But Arizona is coming in here with the better. Ooh, do I want to make this take? I'm going to make this take. All right.
Uh-oh.
With overall the better pitching staff.
Saying the Diamondbacks have the better pitching staff?
Yes, they don't have the big household names like a Jose Alvarado, Craig Kimbrell, Zach Wheel. They don't have those big notable names, but they have St. Louis farmhand Zach Gallen as their ace. They have Merrill Kelly, Team USA Merrill Kelly, who has been shoving. They have Fafat, who has been on a roll as recently. They have the better closer in Paul Sewald. Yes, I said it. It's true. I don't want to hear it. They have Nelson v. Nelson and Kyle Nelson around Nelson. They have Ginkel, who is a very nice setup man. Sal Frank, who's sneaky good from the left side. Mantiply, who would come in in the 4th, 5th inning. He's almost always their go-to out of the pen. And they got Ryan Thompson, who, if I remember correctly, former Pittsburgh Pirate, was a failed starter turned to reliever who is filthy right-hand side, filthy arm angles. And then, well, then they got the young guns. They got Gabriel Moreno behind the plate. They got the combination of Evan Longoria and Jordan Lawler, the rookie at third base. Ketel Marte, Geraldo Perdomo. They got former Royal Emmanuel Rivera. Then the outfield trio, Gurriel, Pham, Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll. They got people. They got bats. Yes, the Dong City itself in Philly, City of Brotherly Love. They got their Harper. They got their Schwarber. They got their Trey Turner. They got the big bats. But the Diamondbacks don't have anything to lose. They shouldn't even be here.
Mm-hmm.
Fair to say on my end, the Phillies were kind of expected to be here. Phillies versus Braves. Yes, it was like, oh, the Braves are a better team. Braves are going to win. But they saw Philly do it last year. People kind of knew, okay, if Philly did it last year, they basically have the same team. They'd have a better team now as they brought in Trey freaking Turner. They kind of, I dare to say, people expected Philly to upset the Braves.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Arizona to make it out of Milwaukee, nonetheless sweep the LA Dodgers, who have always had their number. Let the kids play. Arizona in 6.
I'm not going to agree on the prediction. I will just say this is going to be, if the pitching can't get right for either side, this is going to be a home run fest because these two teams are tied for the playoff lead in team home runs, 13 home runs each for the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. So if Nola and Wheeler and Gallen and Kelly can't get things rolling, there's going to be some high scoring games. I expect a lot of 10 to 8s, 9 to 7s, like 12 to 13 to 12. Like this is going to be, something's got to budge. Either both teams are going to keep hitting home runs or the pitching is finally going to show up on either side. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I just still think there comes a time where the bullshit young team magic comes to an end at some point. I mean, we saw it with Baltimore. Obviously, they didn't even win a game. They were the 1 seed, but sometimes, obviously, Diamondbacks much hotter team than Baltimore was coming into the playoffs. I think the Phillies just have too much experience, and honestly, this is going to be the toughest environment the Diamondbacks will have to play in. Because yes, Brewer fans. Well, I'm not even going to count that because Cubs fans outnumber Brewers fans whenever we get up there. So
Milwaukee is just Chicago North, so they don't
exactly
really count.
Wrigley North. And then it was a step up with the Dodgers. Dodgers fans show out, especially in the playoffs. Tough environment, but again, we talked about it. Decimated by injury. This is going to be Philadelphia tonight is going to be a madhouse. I mean, you saw one of those games in the division series. There were 2 guys standing up on the roof of right field.
Yep, just there.
For whatever reason. So this is going to be tough for the Diamondbacks. I'm not saying they can't.
Yeah.
But the Phillies have that perfect blend of good starting pitching, excellent bullpen, and guys who come up big in clutch moments at the dish. I think it's still going to be competitive, but I'm going to pick the Phillies in 5. I think the Diamondbacks will probably take a game on the at home, probably maybe game 3 or game 4. But I think this will end in the desert in game 5 in Arizona with the Phillies coming out on top and making the World Series the 2nd year in a row. I just like the Phillies hitters better. They just have a lot more experience. Kyle Schwarber's a World Series champion. Bryce Harper's been to the playoffs. He was in the World Series last year. Trey Turner is a World Series champion. Nicholas Castellanos is a playoff veteran guy. JT Realmuto. They have a lot more experience than Diamondbacks. And obviously that's not going to hinder the Diamondbacks, but they're just something when you have that against that veteran team, like we saw with the Rangers and the Orioles, just something happens.
It's going to be crazy when Zach Gallen goes 6 shutout tonight and shuts up Citizen Bank Park. Arizona's going to take game 1 tonight, and it's going to give the Phillies this crazy thing called a reality check. They came to play because they know they ain't even supposed to be here in the first place. So you heard it here first. Because if it happens, you can come back right here and say he was right again. Let the kids play. Arizona in 6. They're going to end in the desert because.
Well, game 6 would be in Philly because remember, it's
whatever.
2-3-2.
Don't care. They're going to end still Arizona in 6. City of brotherly love ain't got nothing on these Serpentines. I don't want to hear it.
Just for those watching, just remember that Cy did also pick the Orioles to win the World Series. So
I did.
It's It's a hit or miss prop. Are you willing to put up a punishment if Gallen doesn't go at least 6 innings? If he doesn't put up a quality, I don't know, quality starts, you give up at least 3 runs. If he doesn't get at least 6 innings of 2 or less runs, are you willing to do a punishment for it?
Absolutely, because if he does, you have to do something this time. So yeah.
Okay.
I'll do whatever. I don't really
Okay.
mind.
So are we putting it if a Gallen stat line, or are we doing it if the Phillies win or lose?
I think there's honestly 2 parts to this bet. I go Gallen stat line. Gallen has to have a quality start tonight. If Gallen doesn't have a quality starts, I would do something. But
Okay.
if Gallen has a quality start, then I'm safe. Because it's this crazy thing. He will have a quality start. He's not getting shelled. It's game 1 in the NLCS. He's their ace. He is a top 5 Cy Young vote getter last year and again this year. I'm not worried. He's also a St. Louis Cardinal farmhand. This is where my St. Louis Cardinal bias plays in. Let him cook.
There it is.
If we really want to do something, I'll even throw a little bet on the line. This is my general bet of the day. Geraldo Perdomo, anytime extra base hit tonight. Lock it in.
Okay.
That's my general bet of the night.
All right. So we'll figure it out once the show's over what we want to do. But any people watching, let us know what you want to see one of us do if either Gallen doesn't have a quality start and the Phillies win, or if Gallen has a quality start and the Diamondbacks win. So I'm excited for this. It's getting spicy. So
let's go D-Bats. Let's go D-Bats.
So let's go ahead and head on over to the other league championship series. The first time in MLB history, we'll be seeing the Battle of Texas, the Houston Astros versus the Texas Rangers. And the Rangers already have taken game 1 from Houston. Your guy, Jordan Montgomery, who went off against Yordan Alvarez, who everyone in this playoffs has been struggling against, struck him out 3 times with a nasty curveball. I know it's already 1 game in, but does that impact what you had as your prediction for this series?
All right. So I definitely mentioned in our Down Thursday chat that I was going for Houston because I was upset about Baltimore. But after seeing game 1, after seeing Yordan Alvarez go 0-for-3 with 3 Ks, and then coming out in the post-game interview that says his off-speeds look like his fastball, which I think is kind of funny in my opinion. But my opinion has changed. Texas in 7. That is my prediction. These teams are, frankly enough, too evenly matched. They were too evenly matched throughout the regular season, and it's going to stay the exact same in the playoffs. However, Houston might have taken the division, but Texas will take the crown.
Okay. I like that. I think this is gonna be a fun series, regardless. I think both sides of the bracket were in for a great league championship series. Obviously, like we talked about, the Rangers were able to take game 1 in a shutout. But obviously, we talked about Jordan Montgomery getting in, doing his thing, shoving in the playoffs, 6 1/3,
Monty!
5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. And Justin Verlander wasn't bad either. Got 6 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. It wasn't a bad start from him. He got a quality start out of it. I'm gonna go with Texas as well. I think for the first time in a while, I think the Rangers have the better starting pitching in this series. I think it's kind of like you hope Verlander gets you a good game, and then it's kind of like up in the air with Christian Javier and the rest of that starting rotation is going to be able to do for Houston. Because if you take a look at it, and we haven't even talked about it yet, Max Scherzer and was it John Gray? John Gray are back. They're on the ALCS roster for Texas. So that's huge onto itself. Nathan Eovaldi has been back, and he's been shoving in the playoffs. Dane Dunning's been doing a really solid job as that third starter. And then, John Gray's back. And we may see a Max Scherzer in this series at some point. I don't know if he's going to start a game.
I think he'll come out of the bullpen. I think if push comes to shove, one of their starters gets shelled, watch Mad Max come in for a couple innings, throw 90 mile-an-hour fastball, throw some dirty cutters, and he'll go out the game.
Yep, and I think that'll be regardless. If there's a blowout, if Texas up by 4 or 5 runs later in the game, like 6th or 7th inning, I think you'll see Max Scherzer just to get him back in a game situation. So if the Rangers were able to win this series, they would have him ready for the World Series. And take a look at Houston's depth chart. You got Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, Hunter Brown, and Jose Urquidy. That is not the Death Star rotation they had with Verlander and Garrett Cole and Lance McCullers a few years back. This is a very vulnerable starting pitching. And yes, they have a really good bullpen with Brian Abreu, Hector Neris, Phil Matone, Rafael Montero. Ryan Presley's been hit or miss, pardon the pun. Kendall Graveman, we'll see if he's back. Was he on the roster to begin with, the ALCS roster?
I can't confirm nor deny.
Okay, he's not.
Okay,
so Kendall Graveman's not on the ALCS roster. So it's going to be tough. They're going to be down one of their better relievers they traded for at the deadline. So it's just going to come down to if Houston can hit this Rangers pitching staff. So I think it'll be Rangers in 6. I think they'll be able to get it done in Houston. Yes, I have both series ending on the road for the higher seed to win. Or actually, no, the lower seed. Houston's lower, or Rangers are lower seed. Oh my God, I can't think. But yeah,
it happens. It's Monday. It happens.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just gonna be a fun series regardless. But like I said, I think I'm gonna go Rangers in 6. Again, it's all about pitching and defense. And yes, Corey Seager isn't the greatest defender at shortstop, but Marcus Semien, Josh Young, Evan Carter had the play of the night last night with a leaping grab in the deepest part of left center field in Houston and is able to double off Altuve, who forgot to touch second base for some reason. Maybe he should have had a buzzer on his chest to remind him of that.
That is a small man, and that is a bigger base. And you're still going to forget to do it? Yeah, make it make sense.
So, but yeah, I think we're in for a great time. Who do you think are going to be some of the X factors in each of these series? Give me one for the NLCS and give me one for the ALCS.
I can give you one for each team if we want to get more specific.
Let's do that.
So we'll start with the NLCS. Well, Arizona, you can go a lot of different players, but Zach Gallen. That's their ace. If he's on, Diamondbacks are on. If he's off, they won't be. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
They need him right now more than ever. As for the Phillies, forgot who they were playing for a second. My bad. It's not necessarily who you expect, but I'm expecting a big series out of Mr. JT Realmuto. He hasn't been the hottest nor coldest throughout the postseason, but as you alluded to with the Phillies, everybody's bound to have their moment. JT is yet to have that moment, and it's going to hurt if it happens. But I think this series we get to see a little magic, whether it be defensively or offensively, from JT.
Okay. What about the ALCS?
ALCS, Kyle Tucker is my easy slam dunk home run with the Astros. Yes, Jordan this, Jordan that, but Jordan's also a little sick right now, so he's not 100%. But just Kyle Tucker's been he's over-reliable. He's been over-reliable for this Astros team for the past 2 years. And if he's on, batting home runs from the left side of the plate, they will be A-okay. As to the Rangers, I'm torn between Josh Young and Jonah Heim. Josh Young has just been good. He is rookie in that rookie year conversation. Kid's super talented. And then Jonah Heim, Jonah Heim is him. He is good behind the plate. He can hit. And with all the attention being on, can we get Corey Seager out? Can we get Marcus Semien out? Can we get Danny Lowe out? They got Josh Young hitting 8th in that order. And he has hit all the way up, and he's hit top 3 before. Like, the kid's good. Then Jonah Heim was the All-Star Game starting catcher. Yeah, I don't have much else to say with him. They know the time is good. They're going to forget about it because they have to deal with all the other big names and a Mitch Garver who was hitting 3rd last night. Like, what? They are carrying 3 catchers on this roster so Mitch Garver can DH. I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting for Bruce Bochy. But those are my X factors. There's no real reason behind them. It's just you gotta when you look at it, such a 7-game series like this, you have to look past the big names because everybody expects the big names to do something. Look at that guy who's kind of quieter. Like, yeah, I know JT Realmuto is kind of a bigger name, but like you gotta look at those guys who have yet to do something.
Yeah,
this will be their time. This will be their time to shine.
Yeah, I mean, it's at least with the Phillies, it's hard to look at anyone else besides Harper, Castellanos, Turner, and Schwarber at this point. So yeah, I think Realmuto is kind of on the lower end of the spectrum. As for me, I'll start with the NLCS as well with the Diamondbacks. I'm going to say Tommy Pham. I think he's going to be, if he can continue to hit the way he's hitting, he's tied with Ketel Marte and 2nd on the team in batting average at .318. And if he can continue to play either some decent DH or some good outfield for them, especially against lefties, because they're probably going to throw him out there instead of Alek Thomas. So if Tommy Pham can continue to hit, especially in a big way for the Diamondbacks, I think they'll be set for that. As for the Phillies, that's a good question. I feel like Bryson Stott is going to be a really big guy for that. Obviously, he had the grand slam. I think that was against Miami. He's had a really good playoffs overall. If he can continue to do what he's doing, especially against the right-handers that Arizona is going to throw out there, I think that'll be huge. Yeah. And again, another lefty bat. So I don't have to deal with Schwarber and Harper. You got to deal with Stott now. So it's going to be tough. As for the ALCS, for the Astros, I think it's Jose Abreu. We talked a lot about him earlier in that Twins series. He has been incredible this playoffs. I think he is very, in the best way possible, he's very desperate to get his first World Series ring after wasting the first part of the most of his career with the White Sox. Thank God he finally got out of there. So I think if he's going to be extra motivated, yes, they lost game 1 already, and that's going to make it life a lot harder, but he wants that ring. I think it makes too much sense. He wants that ring. He's going to be motivated, try and make that happen. It's going to be tough, like we talked about. Rangers pitching staff is really good, and they don't even have Jacob deGrom. It's going to be tough. And as for the Rangers, it's Evan Carter. If this mother trucking 21-year-old can keep playing like he's been in the majors for 10 years in the outfield defensively and at the plate, Rangers are going to win a World Series if he keeps playing this way. Like, I was not expecting this from Evan Carter. I was hearing a lot. I was watching, for those who don't know, Fuzzy on YouTube. Great guy to watch. I've been seeing all this stuff like, oh, Evan Carter. I'm like, who is this kid? And to see what he's doing, what he did through his time in the majors, to stick on the postseason roster and do this, Evan Carter's that guy. He's got AL MVP written all over it, especially if Shohei Ohtani leaves the Angels. But this is going to be huge. This is going to be huge. Evan Carter's is fantastic. He's going to continue to get better. And if he, like I said, if he keeps playing like this, Rangers will finally be able to hoist that World Series trophy.
You are not wrong at all. However, I do want to say, you know what can make Evan Carter just slightly better?
What's that?
Some good old Dubby energy. For y'all who don't know about Dubby is a company that was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. They are an energy drink company that has no calories, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors, all natural. Super good. It is. It's sweet. It's genuine. You love to drink it. And if you give some to Evan Carter, he can keep making these acrobatic plays. If you give some to Jose Altuve, maybe he wouldn't have missed the bag. If you give some to Zach Gallen, he will have a quality start tonight. And if you give some to Bryson, and then you give some stuff to your boy Bryson Stott, we're gonna see more cinematic grand slams. Hopefully not though. I don't want to see that. But if Dubby sounds interesting to you, or your mom, or your dad, or your dog, whoever you
Holidays are coming up.
Holidays are coming up. That's why you should use our code Third Not Thursdays for 10% off. Use that checkout. Get all your favorite flavors. Get the variety pack. Get you that stuff, nice little shaker. And you support us when you do it. And frankly enough, I like to support. You like to support. We all like to support. So thank you, Dubby, again. All love. We love you. And yeah.
All right. Wow. What a pitch. What a pitch. Hopefully you have some of those same elegant words and phrases for our last segment of the day, which is going to be something a little bit different. We're going to say something nice. Obviously this whole thing is Cubs versus Cardinals, beer versus Ivy. We're butting heads on a lot of different things. But every once in a while, it's just nice to have some positivity out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our favorite player or players from the opposite side of the spectrum. So I will give two of my favorite players from the St. Louis Cardinals. Cy is going to give his two favorite players from the Chicago Cubs. We're going to get through this. We're going to grit this one out, but it's good to get some positivity out there. So, Cy, do you want to start or do you want me to go first?
I'll start.
Okay.
So I have two players. Honorable mention, first off, goes out to Dansby Swanson. Yes, had a down year this year, only hitting 22 home runs, 80 RBIs, 244 batting average, and 744 OPS. But Dansby came in Chicago with intentions to be the face of this franchise, to get him back on that good side, on that 2016 Magic run, and get him back to the postseason. You get him to the promised land, bring in championship number 4, I believe, to the Windy City.
Yep.
And cool. I was right. But 244 batting average in 147 games. He's reliable. He's got a good glove. He's put him at that number 5 spots. You know what you're getting. So I'll mention Dansby. I think he's good, but that's not who I'm here to talk about.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about number 74, Jose Cuas.
Oh,
my man. Okay, when the Cubs picked him up at the trade deadline for that whole bullpen like depth, loved the pickup. So you're looking at his stats. You're like, why are you so in love with this random reliever who's pitched a 3.99 ERA, 1.5 WHIP, and a single save in 72 games? So got an arm. I know that arm is just hanging. But for those who don't know his story, Jose Cuas was not originally a pitcher. He originally was like a position player, like an infielder, but he was not finding success. He just could not hit the ball anymore. So he took some time off from baseball. He got his mind right, and he transitioned into a pitcher. And watching him pitch, knowing his story, that filthy, like, it's like almost a submarine motion, like deceptive as all fuck can be. And I just looking at stat lines, 65. He hit 65 innings for the Cubs this year, 63 hits, only giving up 8 home runs, 71 Ks. Like a fantastic guy. That if you're going to in the 7th inning, your starter just went six innings of 2-run ball. Put him in there, get some deceptiveness in, and then goes to someone hard throwing like a Alzolay in the 9th or a Julian Merriweather in the 8th or something like that. Love Jose Cuas, love his story, and I can cheer him on because he's not someone gross and disgusting like Marcus Stroman.
Oh my God! You couldn't even get through it. Come on!
I got stuck in my throat. I looked at his.
Oh
face,
my
and it made me mad.
goodness!
But no,
Man.
love Jose Cuas. That's my guy. I love that the Cubs got him. He's making him right, and yeah, the stats don't look great, but I'm telling you, look at his numbers. Go on Baseball Reference and do a little deep dive. Good, very good. That's all. That's all I got.
All right. Wow. You were right when we talked about a pre-show. That was not a guy I was expecting.
Now shut. Was not gonna spoil that.
All right. So I'll give my honorable mention. It's Steven Matz. Just because I think he's just a quality pitcher. Yeah, he's not as good as he was when he was with the Mets. I think everyone can agree with that. Yeah. But I think he's just a quality pitcher, especially with all the struggles the Cardinals went through last year in the pitching staff. I still think he was able to give you a good start here and there and just kind of do his thing, you know? Just felt like a very chill, very just like, I'm going to go out there, do my thing, and try and help my team win. And those are the type of guys I like. So I just think I like Steven Matz. I like all he's about. It's a lefty, a little bit different. So and I think he's just he's not a guy I have like raging hatred for. I think that's probably the best way I can put it. But I would have to say my absolute favorite St. Louis Cardinal is Lars Nootbaar. I think I kind of turned around on him when during the World Baseball Classic. I thought it was the funniest thing that he was part of Team Japan. Not that he was like there, but it was just kind of like unexpected at the time because I just didn't think Lars Nootbaar had any Japanese heritage or anything like that. So
his mom is Japanese.
Yes. So I was like, oh, I had no idea. So that's kind of cool. And then him like kind of being like an emotional spark plug for Team Japan and that kind of thing. So I thought that was really cool. And I think he's just a really good player. And like, yeah, he's my favorite Cardinals outfielder. Like, I think Jordan Walker got a little overrated this year with some of the, like, he was a good hitter, has a really good stretch, but I think he's a little overrated. I think some people think he's a lot better than he already is. Tyler O'Neill, I have like no like in real life hatred of him outside of the fact he's a Cardinal. Most of my hatred comes from his performance in the MLB The Show, because for a 90 overall, he cannot hit for shit during a franchise. He hits like 230 and it pisses me off. And then Dylan Carlson and whoever else I can't think of right off the top of my head. Yeah. Although it was funny, just a funny story sidebar. My brother had like a unrelenting hatred for Harrison Bader. Like yeah. I was on the train with him for that. No. But I think my brother just thought he was a jerk and annoying and kind of
he's not
asshole. I don't know.
He's not though.
My brother doesn't follow sports as much as you and I do, but I just remember every time we watch a Cubs Cardinals game when Bader was on the team and he would like hit a single or double and then like steal a base or something. My brother just like I hate him. I hate him so much. But yeah, outside of that, yeah. Lars Nootbaar, I think I love him. I think he's got a great personality. He's a good player. And again, how can you not like a guy who's another lefty? I just like lefties for some reason. So yeah, Lars Nootbaar and Steven Matz. Shout out to them for being good players and being some good people too.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting. I kind of expected Lars because everybody loves Lars. If you hate Lars, then you're not a human being. That's just my opinion. I don't like your Jordan Walker take, but it's okay. He's gonna be showing up. He's gonna show up the Cubs for the next 10+ years. I'm not that worried about that. And I love the Steven Matz respect because that's gonna be our number 4 starter next year, hopefully, and he's gonna be solid, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how those guys play next year. Before we get out of here, we have to play MJ's and Bruce's favorite ad with Mr. Cardman. Cy, fantastic show as always, guy.
Of course, that was fun. I like our takes that we made today. Let's go down to that. Let the kids play. Gotta end it with that. Like, just watch. Just watch what happens this next week.
Make sure everyone's be on the lookout for our socials. We'll be making sure to clip out and let you all know what the punishment and the exact bet is for Game 1 tonight, the NLCS, Diamondbacks, and Phillies. So thank you guys, as always, for watching. We'll be back next Monday at noon, as always. Have a great rest of your week, and enjoy some playoff baseball, everyone.